Would it be a weekend of boxing if there wasn't any controversy? We
Mm.
had another controversy this weekend when Carlos Adames stopped Julian Williams in the ninth round. But before we get into that, welcome back to All It Takes No Whiffs. I'm Alex and that's Christian. And to kind of get into this controversy a little bit, Carlos Adames, yes, it was a kind of questionable stoppage. Julian Williams was fighting back at the time and kind of was, I wouldn't say turning the fight around, but was making it a little better of a fight at the time. So it was a very questionable stoppage. But Christian, what do you think about that?
Straight up bad stoppage for sure. Obviously, very different scenarios, but it just kind of looked like the Raleigh stoppage that Raleigh got in his favor the other day. Adames didn't make contact in that exchange really, and if he did, his glove grazed him. And Julian Williams was also mid exchange when the ref stepped in. And yeah, straight up just a bad stoppage. There's no denying that. Also, what was really bad, even though I do think Adames was winning at that point, and honestly,
Mm-hmm.
a little comfortably. He
Mm-hmm.
did have a bit of a gap for a lead. The fact that it was a clean sweep up to that point for Adames by one of the judges, I think that was also really bad because, in my opinion, 3 rounds. Julian Williams had 3 rounds up to that point, but a clean sweep, no. And I, it'd be tough. I would have to add up the scores right now, but I do think Williams was potentially turning the tide right there. Adames was just getting more and more tired. Obviously, is a fighter that fatigues. That's something that I took from this fight for sure. And yeah, it's just Julian Williams, I think, wasn't given a fair shot because this man was not anywhere near a position of having to be stopped. Yeah, he was getting touched up a good bit in the fight, got caught with a couple crazy punches, if I'm going to be honest. One of them being a right hook that I remember. It was just super clean. And I think it was a little before the stoppage. But even then, Julian Williams, he was all in. And it was frustrating to see, but at the same time, my Dominican one, Carlos Adames, ya tu sabe. But glad to see him win, I guess you could say, even though I don't think it was necessarily a clean win. But I do think he had a really solid chance of winning the fight.
Oh yeah, and to be honest, I think he probably would have gone on and won the fight. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
never really know what would have happened afterwards. Julian Williams probably would have lost that round, I think. That would have been another round he lost. And then, like Christian said, I had 3 rounds up to that point too. He wouldn't have, I don't think, had enough at that point to get back into the fight unless he got a knockdown or two. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's a bad stoppage, but like I mean, at the end of the day, Adamas was still probably gonna win unless Williams knocked him out at some point. But I mean, it still is a bad stoppage. I mean, that's just no way around it. I mean, if you go back and watch it too, the ref literally like maneuvers around Williams to
Yeah.
try and get Adames to stop, which was just kind of weird in the first place. He tried to do it on the exchange before too, which was weird. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just a bad stoppage all around.
Honestly, hearing it like with all that context in mind, it kind of sounds like the ref was just being a little too cautious in Williams' favor. Because
Uh,
admittedly, he saw a couple
you
of
know what the ref
punches.
said though, right? To him after the fight, you said didn't want him to get hurt.
Yeah, and then it's like it's understandable, I guess, like looking out for the health of the fighter. That's a good look, but then it's like this is a
It's
very
still
important
boxing.
opportunity for Julian Williams. Like he knows the risk that he's taking. Not saying that I want to see his lights get sparked or turned off, but he's going in there balls to the wall, trying to win this interim title. Like give him that chance, and I don't know.
Taken away.
Honestly, that ref, if he thought he looked hurt, like hurt enough to step in like that, I think that ref needs to check his vision.
Yeah, I mean that
Here,
ref is not the first time he
here you go, bro.
exactly. We both can give him our glasses, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's not the first time that the ref's been under scrutiny for controversial stoppages and stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, Carlos Adames retained his WBC Interim World Middleweight title, so he's got some bigger plans. I feel like he did call out Jamal Charlo. God, I'm glad I got that right. Was gonna say Jermel at first, but we know what Jamal's up to. He's gonna be fighting Canelo here coming up in September. Super excited about that. But other than that, who would you like to see Adamas fight next?
I think Adonis deserves priority over Canelo. Yep, that's just how boxing works. Just messing. There's plenty of options around middleweight though for Adonis to fight. Not necessarily like some of the biggest names. Obviously, Jamal moved up. Triple G, 1 foot out of the door. If you ask me, he's just kind of on the way to retirement. Oh, I know who I want to see Adonis fight next. Janabek Alim Kanuli. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. That's honestly probably one of the best names at middleweight I could think of right now. And obviously, that fight there'd be some difficulty making that fight. Showtime,
Mhm.
top rank. It's just how it is. But strictly like names, that would be an interesting matchup.
Oh, yeah, and I'm kind of in the same boat with you with that one, to be honest. I would love to see that fight. That would honestly be a pretty banger of a fight. I'm honestly not really too sure who I'd give an edge to right now, probably
I
Jonabek,
Yeah,
but I mean, Adames, if he can figure out that, gas tank type thing, he may have a chance in that fight.
yeah. And the thing is, from what I've seen so far, Janabek's never been tested. Adames would definitely give him a tough test. I feel like he would find a way to land something on Janabek at some point, and that would be us getting a first look at Janabek's chin, as far as I know.
Mm.
So I think that's honestly the most fitting fight, but obviously the business of boxing has other plans. So regardless, though, as fans, we just gotta call for these fights. And honestly, a lot of these fights have been being made. So like, who knows? I think we're doing something right at least.
Yeah, boxing's finally getting it right with all of these super fights and mega fights that'll be coming up. July is gonna be a massive, massive month for boxing. We have 2 or 3 undisputed fights, I think. We know what we're getting at the end of the month with
Mm-hmm.
Crawford and Spence. We've been looking forward to that for years now. If y'all want, make sure you subscribe so you can see our thoughts on that. We're gonna be having some bigger plans for that fight too, just like we have with Lomachenko and Haney and Ryan Garcia and Tank. So stay tuned for that. But until then, peace.
Peace.